Hello friend, my name is Oluwole Godwin and welcome to Normative Economics. Today we shall be talking about inductive and deductive reasoning. Okay, so what is inductive reasoning? Inductive reasoning is simply a line of reasoning, okay, that moves from a specific inference to a general one, Okay, so inductive reasoning is kind of a bottom-up approach. Okay, for an individual making an inductive reasoning, okay, for an individual along the line of inductive reasoning, a premise, okay, is made based on a sample, all right, and then the premise based on the sample is then used to generalize for the entire population. Okay, so a sample is simply a fraction of a population. Let's say in a class, okay, let's say in an economics class there are 100 students. Okay, so if you want to take a sample, you might only take 20 of them. Okay, so 20 happens to be a sample of the entire 100. Okay, so that is exactly what happens when we're talking about inductive reasoning. So we make a premise is made based on a sample, and then that premise is used to make a generalization for the entire population. This happens because in analysis, okay, it's not always possible to it's not always possible to aggregate the entire population. Let's say, for example, we want to talk about all the middle income earners in a given country. So it's not I don't think it's going to be very feasible to get a data of I don't think it's going to be very feasible to talk to all the middle income earners in a given country. All right, so we might just take a fraction of them and then use that for the analysis that we want to do. Okay, so we have two examples here. First is my uncle is a banker and he lives a stressful life. Okay, so that is the first premise. Okay, and it happens to be the only premise here. Okay, so the sample here is just one person who happens to be a banker. Now let us check the conclusion. He lives a stressful life. Therefore, all bankers are likely. Okay, all bankers are likely living stressful lives. Okay, my uncle is a banker and he lives a stressful life. Therefore, all bankers are likely living stressful lives. Okay, so this particular individual has just one uncle who happens to be a banker, probably because of the nature of the job. Okay, the uncle is living a very stressful life. Okay, so a generalization is now made for all bankers. Okay, so all bankers are then likely living stress. So this is a normative. This is an inductive statement rather. Okay, so this happens to be the sample. Okay, and then this premise is then used to generalize for the entirety of bankers, okay, which happens to be the population. So we can see that here it is likely, okay, so we are not very sure, okay, that others are living stressful life, but then if my uncle is living a stressful life because he's a banker, then there's a likelihood, okay, that every other banker is living a stressful life. Okay, then number two, of all students that wear glasses in school, I have never found a dull one. Okay, of all students that wear glasses in school, I've never found a dull. I don't know if it has happened to you. Okay, you see a student that is putting on glasses, okay, and you just have this notion in your mind that this must definitely be a brilliant student. Okay, so I guess many of us do have that notion. Okay, even if the individual turns out not to be as brilliant as we initially thought. Okay, so this happens to be our premise. Okay, and then we have the sample of the students that the subject, okay, of this example has seen. Okay, definitely this person hasn't seen all students in the world. Okay, and this person hasn't seen all students that put on glasses. Okay, that wear glasses to school. Okay, the person is just trying to say that of the ones I've seen, from the ones I've seen, okay, I've not found a dull one. Okay, then a conclusion is now made. Okay, it is therefore very likely that all students that wear glasses to school are brilliant. So this is the sample, okay, which is of all students that I have seen. Okay, now, so here I'm now bringing the students that I have seen and those I have not seen, the totality of them, that is the entire population of students who wear glasses to school. Then I'm now trying to make a likely conclusion for all of them, which is it is therefore very likely that all students that wear glasses to school are brilliant. Okay, so that is what inductive reasoning is all about. So it moves from having a premise or a sample, okay, to then making a generalization for the entire population, okay, of the sample concerned. All right, so we then move into what deductive reasoning is. Deductive reasoning is a line of reasoning that moves from a general premise to a specific conclusion. It is top bottom in nature. Okay, so deductive reasoning deals with deducing, and if we say we are deducing, that means from something that is more general, we are trying to get something that is a fraction of it, something that is small. Okay, so when we say we are deduced, okay, so from a series of events, we are thereby deducing that, okay, if all of this happened, then these specific events actually took place. Okay, so it is top bottom in nature. This is talking about coming from a very, very broad perspective, that is coming from a very, very broad premise, okay, top bottom to a specific one. So it's simply the reverse of inductive reasoning. So we have examples here to get our understanding. Okay, so we have this. It is not unusual to find Ralph wherever there is an economics class. Okay, it is not unusual to find Ralph wherever there is an economics class. That means we've probably studied Ralph. Okay, and we already have this general notion of Ralph that whenever there is an economics class, you just seem to find Ralph. Okay, so it must have happened over time, and that is why we can say that of Ralph. Okay, so this happens to be the general premise. So let us check what is next. Okay, there is an economics class going on in room 300B. Okay, therefore Ralph must be there. All right, so this is a very good example of deductive reasoning. So we have the general knowledge. We have a general knowledge of Ralph. Okay, and it seems that Mr. Ralph likes economics classes. Okay, so from there we now have an economics class going on in a particular room. Okay, and because of what we've known of Mr. Ralph, which happens to be his habits or so. Okay, so we can therefore say that Ralph is in that class. All right, so that is a good example. Then the other one is a high cost of production forces sellers to either raise prices or cut back on production. Okay, so this is also general. We are coming from the general perspective. It must have happened over time for us to be able to say that. Okay, then let us now see what's going to happen next. The cost of production of computers have risen. The cost of production of computers have risen. Okay, we therefore expect the price of computers to rise or computers become scarce. Okay, so because there is this general knowledge of all goods, okay, no matter the commodity here, okay, that whenever there is a high cost of production for any kind of good, okay, from the knowledge we have from every good, all right, over time, okay, so we tend to realize that there is either we tend to realize that that producers either raise prices of their goods whenever there is an increase in cost of production, or they decide to cut back on production, okay, or they decide to cut back on something else, okay. But let's take an example. So because of that, we are not trying to apply that general knowledge to what is happening to in the market for computers. Okay, so the cost of production of computers have risen. We therefore expect the price of computers to rise or computers become scarce. Okay, so we are making this specific conclusion from the general one, from the general premise. So this is top, okay, that is for every good. Okay, we are talking about every good, and then we are coming to talk about a specific good. So we are talking about specific good here. So we are moving from the general goods, like the generality of goods, to having a specific one. Okay, so this is deductive reasoning. Okay, and we've talked about inductive reasoning, which happens to be a bottom-up approach. Okay, just the inverse. So for that, you move from general to you move from specific to general, and then here we move from general to specific. Okay, so I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please remember to like the video and share with your friends. Okay, if you want more interesting videos on economics classes, remember to subscribe to the channel. Thank you very much for watching. I remain Godwin. See you next time.